Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into LexiFlow AI and exploring the future of medical malpractice intake. We're going to look at exactly how reasoning AI is targeting some of the absolute biggest bottlenecks in high-stakes law. Let's get right into it. The source material hits us right out of the gate with a pretty blunt question. Is your New York City med-mal firm losing leads? Now imagine for a second that someone just experienced a life-altering surgical error. They are terrified, they're in pain, and they dial a law firm. Well, if no one picks up, or maybe even worse, if the person answering just doesn't grasp the incredibly complex medical nuances of their issue, that caller is just going to hang up and immediately dial the next firm on Google. In this world, a missed lead is not just a dropped call. It's a critical, high-stakes case literally slipping right through the cracks.
And that brings us to the core conflict these firms are battling every single day. On one hand, you have the incredibly frustrating old paradigm, which is wasting expensive billable hours on totally unqualified calls. You've got highly paid attorneys, or paralegals, spending hours on the phone only to realize that a case just doesn't have the medical merit to move forward. But then, contrast that with the new approach, deploying reasoning AI for 24/7 engagement. The material highlights an AI intake agent that responds in seconds. It's basically an insomniac legal assistant. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't take holidays, and it for sure never needs a coffee break. It is a complete 180 from a manual, time-draining process to an always-on system.
So what's the bottom line here? For law firms, responsiveness is absolutely the key to conversion. Think about it from the client's perspective. If you needed urgent legal help after a massive medical crisis, would you sit around patiently waiting 12 hours for a callback? No way. You just dial the next firm on your search list. In hyper-competitive markets, your speed and your availability dictate your survival. Having a 24/7 AI agent isn't just some flashy tech gimmick anymore. The data really anchors it as a fundamental requirement just to keep a modern practice afloat.
Okay, so let's peek under the hood here. Having a bot answer a phone is one thing, but how on earth does it actually understand something as complicated as medical malpractice? Well, the documentation details this fascinating technology called merit scan analysis. It's designed specifically to identify negligence markers and deviations from the standard of care. This is a huge shift. The AI isn't just acting as an answering service taking a message. It's actively weighing the caller's story against specific medical standards to figure out if there is actual, legitimate legal merit behind the claim.
Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Say a potential client dials in at 2 a.m. First, step 1, the AI qualifies the lead and gathers the basic facts. Then, step 2, it instantly cross-references those facts using that merit scan tech we just talked about to perform a medical merit review. And finally, step 3, if the case actually proves viable, it immediately schedules a consultation with an attorney. Just like that. Before the sun even comes up, a highly complex medical legal triage is totally done. The heavy lifting is finished before a human attorney even unlocks the office door.
Of course, all this automation is kind of useless if it doesn't talk to the tools the firm is already using, right? The text makes a big point to highlight what they call seamless CRM sync. It integrates directly with the major players, systems like Filevine, Clio, and LeadDoc. And this is a totally vital piece of the puzzle. Once a lead is qualified, the system automatically pushes that fully summarized profile straight into the firm's existing digital workflow. So there's no manual data entry, no clumsy copy-pasting, just a perfectly smooth handoff of high-value information.
But wait, we cannot talk about AI in the legal profession without addressing the giant elephant in the room, the rules. The legal field is intensely regulated, as it should be. Client confidentiality is everything. So navigating AI legal ethics and compliance requires some seriously strict guardrails. The source material notes that LexiFlow is built with enterprise-grade security, and that includes SOC 2 compliance. If you're not familiar, that's a rigorous auditing procedure that proves a service provider securely manages data to protect privacy. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what the AI can do. It's about whether it can do it securely.
And doing things securely means navigating a wildly complex patchwork of regulatory frameworks that change depending on what state you're in. Based on the adoption guides, an automated system has a lot to juggle. Look at this. In Pennsylvania, you're dealing with a specific practical AI ethics guide. Over in Illinois, automated screening has to account for Section 2-622 compliance, which deals with malpractice affidavits. And then in New York, you've got 22 NYCRR Part 1200 regarding attorney conduct. I mean, think about how easily a human might mix up all these varying state regulations. An enterprise AI solution has to be deeply customized to handle all of this without breaking a sweat.
Here's the thing though, while intake and merit review are the primary focus here, the source document reveals a much broader vision. It's an entire enterprise-grade ecosystem. It goes way beyond just answering the phone. The material outlines this major shift from a single intake tool to a complete end-to-end AI legal assistant. They are building a whole suite of interconnected tools. We're talking Discovery Vault, Settlement Predictor Pro, Depot Lens AI, and Compliance Shield. It's designed to support the modern attorney through the entire lifecycle of a case, from that very first frantic 2 a.m. phone call all the way to the final settlement check.
Now, earlier we hooked you with that New York City example, but the data confirms this technology is built to scale across all the top medical malpractice markets. We're talking New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Chicago. These are literally the largest, most litigious, and most competitive legal arenas in the entire country. The big takeaway here is scale and resilience. The source data heavily implies that if an AI ecosystem can survive the absolute pressure cooker of NYC or LA, it is fundamentally built to handle high-stress environments anywhere else.
Which brings us to one seriously provocative question taken directly from the core philosophy of the source material. Are you ready to deploy AI built for the modern attorney? The legal landscape is shifting right under our feet. The question isn't really whether a firm is ready to adopt AI anymore, it's the adapt or die reality of modern law. Can any firm truly afford to compete against those who already have an AI working tirelessly for them 24/7? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this deep dive leaves you with plenty to think about when it comes to the future of legal tech.